Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. And I suppose good morning if you're elsewhere in the world, and even good evening for some of you. And glad to have you join us here again this afternoon here in the Edmonton area is where we're coming you. Actually, Sherwood Park, technically correct. Sherwood Park area. And welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dune and Friends. Today we have a fantastic guest joining us. We have Dan Sinasac from, in fact, Sherwood Park area. He's practically my neighbor. We're going to have Dan join us, and we're going to talk about music in all different forms. But let me maybe just do a quick introduction of Dan before we welcome him on stage here. So Dan Sinasac is a singer, songwriter with a passion for soulful and funky rhythm blues. Growing up across the river from Detroit, his musical stylings were influenced by the sounds of churning out of the Motor City and a master on the Hammond B3 organ. Dan's ability to connect with his audience has made him a favorite on the local music scene. His new double disc Street Corner History is a lifetime of original material, both electric and acoustic. Now, Dan is also the owner and operator of Dan Lin Studio, a wonderful world-class studio in fact, based in Sherwood Park, Alberta here. So Dan Lin Studios came about through a passion for music by Dan Sinasac. Dan designed and built and equipped the facility, and which is attached to the back of his log home on 3.25 acres, just east of Edmonton, Alberta, Sherwood Park to be exact. And the main room has a 30-foot long wall and heavy burgundy and curtains that can be opened and looked up to the large grassy area, trees beyond, very beautiful, and or the white snow in the case of winter. And so the studio has a very comfortable country feeling, and as you enter the front driveway into the property, you immediately start to relax. So be able to create great music that way. And the purpose and vision of the studio is to provide a pleasing atmosphere to put visiting musicians at ease and bring out the best that they have to offer. So with Dan, it's always been about the music. So in the studio, he has to be equipped with world-class capabilities, and he has done so. And a friendly call, call Dan up if you want to discuss any project that you may have, any opportunities, questions, and challenges that you may encounter with music production, music recording. So with that brief introduction, let's join me, if you can join me in welcoming Dan Sinasac to our interview hour here. So Dan, welcome, my friend. How are you doing today?
Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. Good to see you, Dune, my neighbor.
Great to see you. Yes, we're both on acreage lots out here in Sherwood Park, and so thank you so much for joining us. I know I reached out to you, and with all of the projects you have ongoing, including some woodworking you're into working, we'll talk a bit about that as well. You've been able to say yes and quickly join us here, and appreciate that so much. And so beyond the introduction, Dan, maybe if you can tell us a bit about further about your background, tell us a story or take us back, however you want to start this.
Oh, well, that's a pretty dangerous question because I got a lot to say.
We got a lot of time, Dan. My next meeting is in a while, so we're good.
Yeah, I've been around for a while. I've been gathering up some stories and hopefully some musical wisdom, if you will. First of all, I'd like to say the industry is certainly not the same today as it was even a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard to say anything about the industry and how to be successful in it. But my story, well, where does a guy start on that, right?
All the way back, as far as you like.
I was born in 1954.
Mm-hmm.
Started playing, with the guys, when you're in grade 6, grade 7 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into the school band playing the trumpet.
Mm.
So the trumpet couple of years, grade 7 and grade 8, and then I go to high school. This is in Windsor, Ontario, right? Of course. So I play the trumpet in high school, and you get into the band, and the band went to Japan in 1970 for Expo 70. So I had to be a fairly decent trumpet player. And then a couple of years later, we were invited to go and perform at the Windsor Music Festival in England to perform with the Queen and meet all these wonderful classical musicians. So those experiences right there at a very young age, 15, 16, 17, those years are very important for what you are going to carry with you for the rest of your life. So when I was listening to music at that age, being so close to Detroit, you're very heavily influenced by the groove, the funk, the beat, the melodies, just everything. So it kind of ingrains that into you, and then that's your style pretty much for the rest of your life, right? So after high school, playing the trumpet, getting in, a 9-piece funk band, doing all the, Sam and Dave, everything from Tower of Power, Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Anyways, Wilson Pickett, all that kind of stuff. So just being a trumpet player, I found out that the chicks really didn't go for the trumpet player.
It's always about the girls, right?
The girls wanted to sit on the piano bench while you sat and played a lovely love song, So I started teaching myself to play the piano, and there wasn't a piano at home, so I would go to the school, and whenever I got a chance, I would sneak in back into the band room, and I would sit and play the piano and make up things and basically teach myself. So my musical background is playing the trumpet in high school. From there, it's simply just a passion. My father, he said, if you want to do it, if you really want to do it, you will. So I must have had that much passion in me that I really wanted to play that piano, and I really wanted to I just enjoyed the sound and the feeling from just playing the piano. I was not looking at being on the world stage and performing and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to enjoy the feeling of playing the music and creating something different, creating my own stuff. So Dad said, don't be a musician, get a trade, which was probably a pretty smart, a pretty wise thing to tell me, because I did get into a trade. My father was a tradesman, carpenter. He had a woodworking shop. My grandfather was a carpenter. So I kind of grew up with being in the trades. So when I left Windsor and moved to Calgary, I got a job working for Westinghouse Canada, and I got into an apprenticeship, and I became an electrical rewind mechanic. And so did that for 35 years, but I was with Westinghouse for 20 years, and then I started my own business, and I ran that for 15 years. But all the time, I had music on the side. I always had my piano was always there. If nobody else was there, my piano was there. And on weekends, and at night or whatever, I was always playing and writing, and I was just enthralled with the recording process of capturing sound, and being able to listen to it back, close your eyes, and relive those moments. So, and that started when I was in high school. We made 2 albums to support the fundraising to go to Japan and to go to England and all those good things. I forget where I was going with that, but
Yeah, cool. So,
What,
so
what was I just saying before that?
Um, yeah, so it's quite a journey. You always had music as part of your life, and it's always been the sort of the commonality or the common theme. Even though you worked very hard on a business, which you haven't mentioned, but certainly successful enough to have sold it later on, I believe, if I understand it correctly, and be able to retire in a fairly reasonable way, and be able to build a studio that's quite, in my view, world class. And yeah, so
Yeah,
music has always.
yeah, thank you for that. I was going to say that I was enthralled with the recording process because we made the 2 records in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And, the band is all set up, and there was like 80 kids in the band. So
Yeah.
when we set up, and then a fella came in with, a tape recorder and microphones and
Mm-hmm.
headphones and all that stuff. And yeah, I was quite interested in that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was an older gentleman that he built a recording studio off the back of his house.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited me to come over and see it. Or, I approached him and said, hey, I really would like to know more about the recording end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was, I think I was 15, 16 years old, and I went over to see his studio that was built and attached to the back of his house. And I was just totally enthralled with that. And it's kind of odd that when I was 16 years old, that I had already decided that one day I was going to build a recording studio off the back of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
I wanted to, I've always kept a journal and write down everything.
Mm-hmm.
Write down your ideas. I find that it's a very powerful thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Always have a little book beside you with a pencil, and a piece of paper, and write down your ideas. But when I was like 15, 16 years old, I would write down that one day I'm going to own a large piece of property, live in a cedar log house, going to be married with a few kids and have a couple of dogs and maybe some chickens. But always, always the music was there. I always had to have a music room, always had to have a little recording studio set up. And the studio that I have right now is the 4th studio that I built in my travels. So I, back in the day when you're just thirsting for knowledge of recording and all that kind of stuff, and yourself, I get magazines and I read articles, just try to absorb as much information as you can about the technology, the industries. So I did that for years and years. And after building a few recording studios, of course, I learned the science of it and the mathematics, calculating acoustics and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But so I've come to this studio, and what the recording studio, it's very important that you have a good environment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was really striving for, is to have a comfortable environment that you feel at home. You don't feel intimidated when you walk into a big studio with the big glass windows, and that kind of thing. I wanted something more intimate, but it still had to be a large room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that the environment sounds good to start with.
Yep.
And then good microphones.
Yeah.
That have a nice flat frequency response.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to use the microphones.
Yeah.
And then good preamps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's basically it. Well, here's an interesting thing, talking about recording studios and how things have developed and changed over the years. That watch the Grammys, and that lady, what the heck was her name? Not Elsa. She won a Grammy, and she recorded her record like in her bedroom at home.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, she won a Grammy. So that was last year. So this is the turning point for recording industry. The big recording studios are kind of going by the wayside because more people are recording at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you bet.
And that's the way it's starting to go. But with this young lady winning a Grammy for a recording she did, in her own home studio kind of thing with minimal equipment.
Yeah.
But But anyways,
Yeah, I like to. By the way, Bruce Hall, our friend Bruce Hall, Mr. Bruce Hall. You
yeah.
can probably see it on screen there. I just displayed
Oh,
on screen there. It says, Bruce says, Dan, you're way too cool. Yeah.
well, we have a mutual admiration club.
Absolutely. It's good to have one. Now, I would like to play a video. I believe this is, I think it's from Shaw. And tell us about this video where they, because that will give us, the audience, a sense of, the studio and your journey a little bit in this year. So I'll take myself off camera here. Tell us about this clip here, and I'm going to hit play. Can you see the clip?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it's press 2, play.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and click play here.
Welcome to Press to Play, your source for everything entertainment in the city.
Go.
I'm Kimberly Wynn. Thank you for joining us. Now, what would you do if money wasn't an issue? My guess would be probably pay off your debts, buy a nice house, a car maybe. Well, one gentleman decided to create his own magical world, his one-of-a-kind surrounding right at his house. The Danlin Studios is equipped with world-class recording capabilities with an atmosphere that puts any musician at ease. Tim Dancy paid him a visit and takes a tour.
We're in the beautiful county of Strathcona at a place called Danlin Studios, one of the finest recording facilities in all of Alberta. It's run by a fellow named Dan Sinasac, a former tradesman who designed and built this place. It's his hobby, really. We'll go inside. Dan is doing exactly what most musicians would love to do, record and play music in his very own personally designed and built recording studio. After 40 years in the electrical transformer business, he's doing retirement his way.
Sold the business, and I explained to my wife that I was going to make a little music room off the back of the house.
Something like 1,880 square feet of recording studio and full bar.
I'm in the position where, okay, I built the studio is paid for, I'm retired, I got my nest egg in the bank, so I'm doing this because I love it.
We're good to go, Dan? Let's give it a show. The equipment here is first rate. The design is great. The tuning of the room, how it sounds and how it's laid out is really fantastic.
So now Dan Sinasac and his friends write, record, and perform music there all the time. And in recent times, it's well used by notable regional artists.
When a guy like Tommy Banks and the Edmonton Symphony come in to use my facility, my piano, the Bosendorfer, is extraordinary instrument, so I have high quality gear and high quality instruments here. Jack Semple's been in.
Actually, Semple's new record may be up for a Juno Award. Sandro Dominelli is Danlin Studios' primary recording engineer.
So that was good.
Like I'm constantly trying to upgrade it. I'm constantly listening to it, working with it. Where do the mics sound the best in what part of the room? And the same with the control room. I've had some good advice from some senior mentors.
The computer stuff is fantastic for editing and getting things done quickly, more secretarial work, so to speak. Here we combine the both, most of our recorded tracks are done by analog, and then all the editing and mixing we do through a computer or through some software.
Not feeling too good myself. Feeling all right.
I wanted to live in a log house with a recording studio and be married with 3 kids and a couple of dogs, and
Jeez,
have a barn with chickens.
I've already done that.
Well, I've done that.
And hosts house concerts regularly, too. Is just immersed in this wonderful little world of his.
To learn more about the studio and who's recorded there, visit them online at danlinstudios.com. Welcome to Press to Play, your source for everything entertainment.
That was done, geez, I can't remember when that's got to be 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. So that's looked a little. Yes, I started the studio with well, first of all, the idea to start building it, and then I talked to my friend Sandro.
Mm-hmm.
We played in a band together way back in the day when Sandro was still in high school when we met. But in any case, I started talking to Sandro, and he said, "Well, this could be a real recording studio." So that he kind of got me thinking about that, and that's when I went a little bit crazy, a little bit overboard with my with the technical specs on gear. So I want, like I said, I wanted if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to have a recording studio, I want it to be right up there, to compete with world-class studios. So I wanted all the best equipment I could get. And, here's the thing. Miles Wilkinson. Well, first of all, I'll back up. Sandro was my engineer, and then Sandro got married and had a couple of kids and opened up his music school. And so he got busy with his life. And along the way, we had met Jerry Woolsey. God bless Jerry. He's passed away over 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And we started working with Jerry. He'd 45 years in the business. Jerry Woolsey was the lead singer with Tukoi Ride for like 17 years. Multi-instrumentalist, one of the best engineers you could ever imagine, because not only did he have great ears and technical abilities that way, but he could also service and repair any piece of equipment and the electronics end of it. So Sandro introduced me to Jerry Woolsey, and then I ended up working with Jerry Woolsey for 6-7 years. Then when Jerry passed, a friend of his that he had won a couple of Junos with here in Canada, Miles Wilkinson, is in town. So I have to hire an engineer. Years of playing Hammond organ and stuff like that, and growing older, these things start to deteriorate for some people. So I would really like to say, take care of your ears. My ears are not quite up to par anymore. So I really prefer to work with someone that really knows what they're doing, or can really hear and understand what they're hearing and how to correct it and that kind of thing. So yes, I have done lots of engineering and producing on my own. I just want to go on a side note here. I went to a seminar of how to make a better record. You pay your $35 a seat. You go into the seminar. Okay, there's 6 people up on the dais, and one fella is going to be the MC, and he comes out to open up this seminar, and he says, well, when they asked me to MC at this seminar a few months ago, I started thinking about it. How do you make a better record? And he says, all I could come up with was just work with the best people and the best facilities that you can. Then everybody on the dais, jokingly, they all got up and started to walk off, like, okay, the seminar is over. Excuse me. So the thing is, if you have to work with the best people you can and the best facility that you can. Of course, that all comes down to money, right? You have to be able to afford that. But yeah, if you, and like I said, a good environment, good microphones to be able to pick up the sound, good preamps to be able to amplify that sound very clearly and record it. It's kind of that simple. The next component to that, of course, would be the musicians themselves and the songs. They got to write good songs, and they got to be decent musicians. But anyway, that's what we deal with that here all the time.
Yeah. So here are some photos, great photos. You have high ceiling in that place, my friend, like this photo here demonstrate, right? some nice acoustic treatments on the top there.
Yeah, well, it's a 14-foot high peak in that room, and you can see that across the top of the peak, I've put upside down triangle sections, and those are stuffed with the Roxol insulation. That's my bass trap across the ceiling. This here is the vocal booth, which is a complete separate little room. The walls don't touch the outside walls. The floor it's a floating floor, and I fill it full of sand to give it a good solid base on the floor, so there's no vibration. The control room, it was actually a fellow by the name of Nick Blagona, a world-class engineer. He did the Deep Purple records. He worked with Sting and did a Chicago album, multiple albums. And I would send Nick Blagona pictures of my control room and a sample of the mix that I worked on, and then he would call me back and say, well, I think you should change the bass traps here. You could put the diffusers here, for acoustic treatments and so on. And we kind of did it that way. So and the bar here now, I was talking to a good friend of mine when I was building the studio, and I said, hey, you think I should have a bar next to my studio? And he said, Dan, one way or another, there will be a bar. So, so I decided to go with that. And the bar is kind of like, the green room, a social room. And the studio is really developed it evolves, and it takes its own directions. And what happened here, too, was there was a fella involved with the Edmonton Folk Festival. God bless him, Mitch Podolak. And he is the godfather of folk festivals across Canada. He started all the major folk festivals, Winnipeg, Edmonton, like 19 festivals that he consulted to and so on. Anyways, he was in town, and he came out to see the studio. And 9 years ago, it was Mitch Podolak that he said, Dan, this facility is perfect for doing house concerts. And that's when we started thinking about it. We got a good sized room. We could put 50 people in that room. And so it was Mitch that inspired us to start doing the house concert thing. And then we ended up recording some live stuff in this with an audience, and no real plan ahead. It just, things just kind of get rolling and kind of fall into place. Look at the size of that room. So that's an old picture too. But with doing the house concerts, I've become good friends with a fellow by the name of Valdi. You've probably heard his, that song, Play Me a Rock and Roll Song. Anyways, Valdi, I got to meet Tommy Banks. Tommy loved the room. Now, the acoustics of the room is very important. And it took a while. It took a couple years to arrange the acoustic paneling in the room, listen to the room. Of course, the whole thing is using your ears, right? So we got the room treated. I got that bass trap across the top. I had to put diffusers up. And Tommy Banks came in with a 20-piece orchestra. And Tommy said, Dan, this is a very musical sounding room, which is quite a compliment. And after working on 14 projects with Tommy, so the studio has brought in, doing the house concerts, some very notable musicians have been in here, and we're a bed and breakfast kind of a studio. The kids are growing up and moved out now, and we have 3 spare bedrooms with queen size beds in them. So we've had, for instance, we mentioned Jack Semple working on In the Blue Light. He came and tracked that here. He came and stayed with us for a week. And Connie, cooks and cleans, and we help out around there. And so they show up.
You created a wonderful community, really event, the regular event that many of us have enjoyed over the last few years. And Dora just mentioned here, you see her message on screen. She says, love the studio, and the house concerts have been amazing, she says.
We have had some like incredible moments in the studio for sure. And yeah, love Dora. It's hard to even begin. It's interesting how networking and
Sorry, go ahead.
Networking with people. It's very important to network. Even to be successful in the business, you got to be a nice guy. You got to be a good guy. Like in Nashville, places like that, you can be an incredible musician, but if you're not a nice guy, they don't want to work with you. They don't want. There's no egos. You come in, you work together, you share, you do the job together. But a lot of the fellas that haven't gained this wisdom yet in the industry, it's going to be tough. So the word of mouth thing, I was doing a music festival in Red Deer. I got a call from the organizer, Mike Bradford. He calls me up and he said, Dan, the person that was supposed to pick up one of my acts at the airport in Edmonton can't do it. Can you go and pick him up? So I ended up picking up a piano player by the name of David Vest. Now, David Vest, he's got to be, I think David's 70 or so this year. But, when he was 14 in Alabama, he was playing blues, boogie woogie piano. He met Bob Dylan and all these kind of people. So I go to the airport and I pick up David Vest and I bring him home on a Friday night. We put him up and feed him. And then on Saturday, we drive to Red Deer and we do the gig. We stay, come back home on Sunday afternoon. David stays with us again Sunday night, and I put him on a plane Monday morning. So wonderful. I spent a few days with the guy and we really got to be friends. So he goes and makes a record in Toronto using the Downchild Blues guys, Gary Kendall and Bucky Berger. Anyways, they all talk. So another fellow by the name of Morgan Davis, who started, he was with David Wilcox back in the day, and Morgan Davis wrote that song that Colin James had the big hit with. Why'd you lie? Bum, bum, bum. Anyways, Morgan Davis is talking to Gary Kendall, and he says he's going to do a tour out west. Well, Gary Kendall says, well, if you're going out west, you got to go and see Connie and Dan. And then Morgan talks to somebody, and you remember that old thing about and so on, and so on, and so on. So I get a call from, Al Lerman of Fathead, and wonderful human being. And he goes, hello, Dan, my name is Al Lerman. I have a band named Fathead. Can we come in and do a house concert? Well, geez, so I get to meet these kind of guys. And what I find about the really world-class musicians that are incredible musicians, usually 99% of the time, they turn out to be wonderful people too. So, not only, working in music, it's meeting the people and hearing their stories, becoming friends with Leon Blue. He was originally from New Orleans. He lives in Las Vegas now. And Leon is going to be 84 this year. Is still, blues piano player. So he was the music director for Ike and Tina Turner for 15 years, touring the world with Ike and Tina Turner. And here this man is sitting at my dinner table for a couple of days, telling me stories. I love that. I love that. Leon, and talking about music and stuff, of course. Talking about the old days. Hey,
let's talk about the old days. Let's take a look back into your musical journey beyond the studio that you have built, beyond the world-class studio that you built, I'm going to pull up your website here and take us through some of the musical journey. And while we're looking at some photos of your performance photos, I'm going to play some of your songs, MP3 files of your songs that you've recorded in the past as well. So let me know if you can see this. Let's see here. Can you see this? Yeah, okay, on screen here. I'm just going to do that. Give me a second. So there it is. I'm going to, so tell us about this sort of musical journey on the website there that we can find under dansinasac.com.
Well, this is my last effort from a few years ago now, and it's a double album. I love creating. Every time I sit down at the piano, I'll sit down and start writing a new song. I got to stop writing songs because it costs money to record them. In any case, I had all this material. I had a bunch of electric stuff that I wanted to do with, electric guitars and so on. And then I wanted to do acoustic piano, acoustic guitar, acoustic bass, and that kind of thing. So I had all this material, and I said to my wife, Connie, I said, I've got all this material. I want to make 2 albums, one electric and the other one with acoustic. And Connie came up with the idea. She suggested, she says, well, why don't you do a double album and do one disc is all electric and the other disc all acoustic. So we call the first one Electrified and the second disc Acoustified. And yeah, it's all original stuff. There's 21 pieces of music on this.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to play the first one here. I believe it's called Born with a Heartache, Burnt Piano.
That would be off my first record. Burnt Piano. My first record came out in 2001, and this one just came out a few years ago.
Yeah. So let me know if you can hear it.
Yeah. Have you got a picture of Burnt Piano?
Yeah.
No, there's no sound there right now. Oh, there you go.
You hear sound?
No.
Okay, give me a second.
I wonder if you scroll down, if it shows the other records too.
You bet. So
that's Burnt Piano, that's the first record I made. Took a year and a half to record it and get it done because wife and 3 kids and my business was, going bankrupt or whatever. It was tough. But and going back to Sandro Dominelli, said, Dan, you got to record a record that has so many original songs. So that it was Sandro that kind of inspired me to get to work. And he plays on this record as well. Wonderful local musicians that I hired to play on it. And that was a labor of love for sure. But it was like a necessity. If you write these songs and you have, the gift of being able to create and make music, it'd be a shame not to record it, So that's what, really inspired me. It was like, and at that time I was 45 years old, that's 20 years ago. And I had to record that record no matter what the cost. I remember the kids going, but Dad, we're hungry. I said, well, I've got to go in the studio, kids. Sorry. But getting that first record done, that was a real learning experience. Of course, it's all evolution and learning experience. And then after I got the first record done, are you going to play a cut off that?
You bet. I'm going to play that. Yeah. So let me know if you can hear it. Okay.
Yeah. No. Oh. There you go.
Born with a heart. Keep on trying. Mama was a hard case. She raised me like a rock. Mama was a hard case. Yeah, Lord knows, hard woman to love. Yeah. The boys, they be gambling with all their money down, and dirty money was all that could be found. She'd hook into some dandy, yeah, just to take a ride downtown.
Yeah.
Very
Well, hey,
cool.
you know what? I got to tell you the story on that.
Mhm.
About the songwriting and the creative process is if you got a story to tell,
Mhm.
you got a song. But you have to, you got to have the story. The story that goes with Born with a Heartache. My mother was an orphan,
Mhm.
and she had it really rough, and being in Detroit, as a young lady during the Depression and so on. I remember, after my dad passed away, and I was talking to Ma, they said, "Did you have any boyfriends or anything before you met Dad? When you were younger?" We're talking back, in the mid 30s kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I remember my mom told me the story and where the song comes from now. So Mom says, "Well, yes, I had some boyfriends back in 1933, 1934, before the Second World War." And she said, "My boyfriend, he would send a limousine to pick me up,
Hmm.
and buy me nice, fur stall or diamond ring." And she said the girls would sit in one room, and the boys would be sitting in the other room, and they'd be gambling and playing poker and smoking cigars and drinking whiskey. And every now and then, if her boyfriend would say, "Hey, Velma, would you get me another whiskey?" And Mom would take a drink into him, and she says, "I'd take a drink in there, and there'd be $4,000 or $5,000 in cash on the table." And I'm thinking, wow, Mom, did you realize who you were hanging out with? And that's why in the song it said the boys, they'd be gambling with all their money down.
Mhm.
Dirty money was all that could be found.
Mhm.
I said, "Mom, did you realize who you were hanging out with?" And she said, "Well, he was very nice to me. He never told me what he did, and he treated me nice and stuff." So she, was having a rough life and an orphan, whatever, in Detroit. She went along with it, of course, until she met my dad, the sailor, who was a smooth talker.
Mhm.
But that's how the song comes about. And
Yes.
she was born with a heartache.
Mhm.
She was a pretty hard woman.
Yeah.
Pretty hard woman.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was her environment that did that. But you got to have a story to tell. And
Mhm.
as soon as you have, a story to tell, you can write a song.
You bet. Wonderful. What I'd like to do is share a couple of comments from our viewers here. Tracy Wells says, this was from a few minutes ago when we were playing some songs. Hopefully you can see it on screen there. It says,
Yeah.
"Leon is awesome. We had lots of fun visiting, jamming in Vegas a few years ago with the Big Blues Bender." And then Ken Ridgway, you our mutual friends there, we both know Ken, says,
Yeah.
Dan and Connie are two of the nicest people, most welcoming people around. Have enjoyed many of Dan Lin concerts. Looking forward to many more. So you are well loved, my friend, both you and Connie, and myself included. In that, we certainly love and respect what you guys do with the community. Now, I like to play a few. More of the songs in fairly fast succession. Every time I cue up a part of the song, tell us a bit about it, maybe before and maybe after as well, and then I'll move on to the next song. So we're gonna, in fast succession, run through 6 or 7 songs or something like that. Does that sound like a good game?
Let her rip.
There you go. Owen Jones says, watching from Windsor. We go way back.
Oh, my buddy Owen Jones. He was in the band that went to Japan and England and all that.
Yeah. Very cool. So I'm just going to play the Feeling All Right, Going Back. Tell us about that before I cue it up. Feeling All Right?
Yeah. Just wanted to do something a little bit different with it and put some Latin rhythms in it and congas and sort of a Santana type of feel to it. Jack Semple's guitar solo on this is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, let her
Here we
go.
go. Rip. Feeling All Right.
Change of scene. Every night I have the strangest dreams, imprisoned by the way it might have been. Left here on my own, oh, so it seems. I've got to leave before I start to scream. But someone locked the door and took the key. Feeling alright. Too good myself. Feeling alright. Not feeling too good, little girl. Boy, you sure took me for one big ride. Even now I sit and I wonder why. And when I think of you, I start myself to cry. I just can't waste my time. I must get dry. Gotta stop believing in all your lies. 'Cause there's too much to do before I die. Feeling alright. Not feeling too good myself. Feeling alright. Not feeling too good, little girl.
Now, you mentioned Jack Semple's solo. Is it much further from this spot, Dan, or is it?
Yeah, it's just about to start. Let her rip.
Let her rip. Fantastic.
You know, like I said, if you want to make a great record, work with the best musicians that you can get, right? Mm-hmm. The Jack, he's amazing. Wow. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
going to cue up the next one here. We're going to take our viewers on a musical journey here. The next one I'm going to play is Poke Salad. Oh, sorry, Poke Salad Annie. Tell us about. It's the same album. It looks like from Going Back album.
Well, again, that's a Tony Joe White tune that I heard, when I was growing up. This album was all cover tunes. Album called Going Back. And I was just going back when I built a studio. I wanted to record all like the songs that influenced me growing up. So, yeah, if you got time,
you bet. I don't have a meeting right after this. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But if you're game, we can continue well past the 1 o'clock, my friend. And let's keep going.
I warned you. I got a lot to say.
Oh, we will keep going here, Dan. So I'm going to play the next one, which is the. Let me just. There it is. Here we go.
Now I'd like to tell you a little story about a girl I know way down south named Poke Salad Annie. Well, down in Louisiana, where the alligators grow so mean, I know a little girl, I swear to her, she makes the alligators look tame. Poke Salad Annie. Oh, the alligators got to grab his own. Everybody said it was a shame, 'cause her mama was working on the chain gang. Well, every morning she goes down by the truck patch. She picks up vegetable salad. She carry it home in a tote salad. Poke Salad Annie. Yeah, the alligators got to grab his own. Everybody said it was a shame, 'cause her mama was working on a chain gang. I'm mean, spiteful. That's good.
Awesome.
Incredible. When we were recording that, talking about these experiences, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. That's the third take. We were set up recording live off the floor, and I said, I told the guys what I wanted. That's my arrangement, and Jack says, "What do you want me to do?" And I said, "I want you to go nuts." The bass player is Dave Shabbat, incredible bass player. That's on drums, Steve Hoy, plays at the Mayfield Dinner Theater. And Steve Hoy has been playing drums with Jack Semple for many, many years. But anyways, when we were recording that, the feeling that, when I'm playing that B3 in there, I wasn't even sitting on the benches. Like I was
levitating.
I levitated. God. Oh, what a rush!
Literally on cloud 9, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tell us about the next one. Can't Hold Out, also from the Going Back album. Can't Hold Out.
an old Elmore James tune, and I'd like to say this is one take. So we did this record, and at the end of the recording session, everything is set up. Everybody's in place, and we're done. And I said, well, just set up a groove. We'll do a 12-bar blues, and let's just jam, and I'll sing this song, and we'll play this song. So this is the last song we recorded for the project, and it's one take.
Wow.
Elmer James.
There you go. Can't hold out.
Just talked to my baby on the telephone. She said, stop what you're doing, baby. Come on home. I can't hold out. I can't hold out too long. I get a real good feeling talking to you on the phone. I said, baby, don't you worry, you're my heart's desire. You know that I love you and I can't stand to see you cry. But I can't hold out too long. I get a real good feeling talking to you on the phone. Yeah. Baby, you can run, you can walk or fly. You know that I love you and I can't stand to see you cry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for playing this stuff.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for doing this for us, Dan. And thank you, I guess, to Connie, your wife, Connie, your lovely wife and talented wife who took care of the technical setup on your side there. That's wonderful with the computers and internet.
Okay, I just want to interrupt you on that. You know, Connie is a big part of the studio. And, you know, she cooks wonderful meals. She's a wonderful cook. And like when Jack Sempler was here or Tommy Banks or these kind of people, they love Connie's cooking and so on. So, you know, me and Connie, we were inducted as a couple into the Edmonton Blues Hall of Fame.
Cool.
Last year. Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool. And, you know, it was showing their appreciation for what we do for the music community and our contribution, you know, with the 82 house concerts and so on. And Tim Cosgrove has been a friend of ours for a long time. And so we asked Tim if he would present us with the plaque to be inducted. And Tim says, so there were two musicians in Edmonton, and they're talking, and one guy says, hey, have you heard about that Dan Lynn Studios out there? And the other guy says, yeah, man, the food is great.
There you go. Music is wonderful, but food is food, right? I mean, who doesn't love food? Good food. And I must say, though, beyond the music and beyond the food, your hospitality, your caring for the community, and your like many others have said before, even on this stream, you create a real experience for all who come. Not just music, not just food, but also the whole experience and kind of being.
If I can interrupt you, that, you know, people say, okay, we're giving back to the community. And I said, you know, I kind of like to share that. We're sharing what we have. I wouldn't say it so much as, you know, giving back. we're sharing what we've accomplished.
Yeah.
We're sharing what we have made, and so I like to think of it more as sharing what we have.
Yeah. And I'm sure as you share that, your lives are enriched as well, both yours and Connie's. Be able to share that is very special, right?
It's been awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I married Connie, I said, marry me and life will not be boring.
Yeah. Well, Bruce Hall, Mr. Bruce Hall, he says, everyone has their legends, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, but I heard of them. But Dan and Connie are some of my real life legends. Love them so much. This is Mr. Bruce Hall, the singing sound man. I call him that because he used to sing at some of the shows that we would play. He's the sound guy, and we get into jamming, and he come up and play with us. That's awesome.
Bruce is a very unique individual.
Absolutely.
And, I have a lot of love and respect for Bruce as well.
Hey, we're going to share the next song. Tell us about Five and Dime, Street Corner History from the Electrified album.
Well, Street Corner History, of course, being raised in West Windsor, Ontario. Our house was on the corner of King Street and South Street. So Five and Dime, basically, I was just, I found my girlfriend or found, a hot chick or whatever at the Five and Dime, or, in each verse it talks about my girl that,
Yeah, let's play it.
Let it roll.
Let it roll.
The Five and Dime. Yeah. I never knew how bright the sun could shine. You're looking fine, baby, and I don't mind, baby. And waiting gives the devil time. Found my baby just outside the liquor store. Yeah. Just watching her move, I knew what she was looking for. You're looking swell, baby, and I can tell, baby. And waiting gives the devil time. Yeah. Hanging on the line. Yeah. One look in her eye, I knew that she could read my mind. I know you're bold, baby, but don't be cold, baby. Yeah. And waiting gives the devil time.
Cool.
Yeah.
It takes you back almost like being young, right? Some of the sentiments being shared there as I was listening to the lyrics.
Again, that was Jack Simple on guitar again.
Yeah. Wonderful. Tell us about this song called Days Gone By, I think from the same album.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we'll just play a little bit of that one.
You bet.
Days Gone By. I mentioned earlier about teaching myself how to play the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Back in high school, I started playing the piano when I was like 15 or so, and figuring things out on the piano. So I didn't even know what keys I was playing in, but I started out playing in a G minor,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just constantly hammer on this G minor.
Mm-hmm.
The music teacher said, "Sinasac, would you please learn another key?" So I moved it from the G minor up to the A minor.
Mm-hmm.
And I put those two together. And so like when I was 15 years old, messing around on the piano in the music room at school. This is the first song I've ever wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, grade 10 or whatever, the first heartache from your first puppy love girlfriend or whatever. So that's where this song came from. It's I wrote this lifetimes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to record it. So
there you go.
Let some of that roll.
Yeah. Let's go back in time.
Sometimes I think about you. In fact, most of the time, that's all I ever do. And it hurts me deep down inside. How you can hide your love away. Then again, we both know I've made it that way. Sometimes I have days of confusion, days I just can't laugh or cry. Loneliness has got the best of me, baby. I know, 'cause sometimes I just wish I would die. Oh, but I guess I'll just go away. Another piece of time.
Cool. So that takes us. How many decades is that taking us back, Dan?
Oh, I think that song is probably written in 1970.
70.
Yeah, I think I was 70. I was like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Broke up with my first girlfriend in grade 10.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of,
Let's just say I was very young back then. Yeah.
I don't feel young anymore.
Tell us about this next one. Is the I Rather Be same album, but it's acoustified, I believe.
Oh, this one. Yeah, I'm not even sure where the inspiration for this even came from.
Mm-hmm.
I like the, Manhattan Transfer.
Mm-hmm.
I really, well, being a horn player and playing in horn bands, you got, a couple of trumpets and a saxophone and stuff, how it sounds together, bam. But I really like harmony vocals are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, I wanted to really, emphasize the harmony vocals on it, but Sheena Ratty from Winnipeg was here with a band called Red Moon Road.
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed with us. They've been here several times now, and they've even come and just stayed with us for a week or so. So while they were here, and I said to Sheena, I said, would you mind singing some backup vocals for me?
Mm-hmm.
So she put the headphones on and said, let it roll, and then she'd sing a track. Then she'd say, open up another track, I'll sing a harmony to that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Open up another track, I'll sing another harmony. At one point, I'm doing a couple harmony. I do two tracks of vocals, and she does like 5
Mm-hmm.
tracks of vocals at the end. Anyways, let her run.
Let her
roll.
go. All right. I'd rather be from the same album there.
Be a pauper than a king. I'd rather be a pauper than a king. Just you and me, we could be anything. Don't need a ladder to get us any higher. Why don't we fly? Let's go take a ride. We don't need a key to be free. And dream, 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 dream. We don't need a key to be free. I think you know what I'm looking for. I wanna go right here on the floor. We don't need a fire to get us any higher. A good place to start is right here in my heart. We don't need a key to be free. Love you, I swear, take you anywhere. I wished upon a star, and now here you are. You know that if I can, I'd do it all again. Why should we hide? Let's go take.
Very cool.
I love that piece of music.
Mm-hmm.
That was wonderful.
Yes.
The way that just came together. That's Mike Lent on acoustic bass, Jack Semple on acoustic guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and Sandro on drums on that. And of course, I'm playing piano on that.
Yeah. Tell us about walking to work. I mean, I haven't done that lately. I've been working from home, but if I was working at the office again, I might walk to work. Tell us about that with COVID here.
Yeah, back in the day, I love those, the old blues, gospel, almost cotton field back in the day when they would just do a cappella.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the idea that I would like to try and do an a cappella tune. So this is just all my vocals. I did 7 tracks of vocals. And I made the song up. I was walking to work one morning. It just came up with the bass line, walking to work, doom, 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 walking to work, doom, 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 walking to work. And how I'm earning money to take care of my family and how I love my wife. And
it's almost like self-therapy almost, right? It sounds like.
Dude, it's all self-therapy.
Absolutely.
It's all self-therapy. Okay. Well, let her roll.
Let her roll. Here we go.
Dum dum dum, walking to work, dum 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 dum, walking to work, dum 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 dum, walking to work, dum 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 dum, walking to work
In the morning,
walking to work,
in the evening,
walking to work,
in the morning,
walking to work,
in the evening,
walking to work,
every in the morning,
walking to work,
every in the evening,
walking to work,
every in the morning,
walking to work,
every in the evening,
walking to work,
in the
Got to
morning,
make a
walking to work,
in the
living.
evening,
walking to work,
in the
Bring it
morning,
on home to
in the
you.
evening,
walking to work,
in the
This
morning,
ain't just a
walking to work,
feeling,
walking to work,
in the morning,
but what I've
in
got
the evening,
to
in the
do.
morning,
walking
in the evening,
to work,
every in the morning, every in the evening,
walking to work,
in the
I
morning,
keep thinking
Walking to
about
work.
your
In the
loving,
walking to work,
in the morning,
and it's a
Walking to work.
reason to
Walking to
survive.
work.
in the morning,
walking to work,
in the
I just
evening,
keep
Walking to
on
work. walking to
walking,
work,
in the evening,
keep my eyes on the
morning,
prize.
every in the evening,
walking to work,
every in the morning,
walking to
every evening.
Walking to work.
I want to show our children
Walking to work.
to do what they've got to do.
Walking to work.
In the morning,
Walking to work.
in the evening, from now until the
work.
end.
Walking to work.
In the evening,
Don't be afraid to wear your shoes.
every evening,
Walking to work.
in the morning,
Walking to work.
in the evening,
Walking to work.
in the
Got to
morning,
make a
Walking to work.
living.
Walking to work.
in the morning.
That's good.
Cool. So that's your version of the was it a cappella quartet, whatever those things are called.
Yeah, yeah. That was fun to do. You know, I'm not afraid to be creative and do things that I don't follow any rules because I don't know the rules.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, working with some people that have been in the business for 40, 50 years, and I make that statement that I don't follow the rules because I don't know them, and they say that's could be a good thing.
Absolutely.
And I come up with things that haven't been done before, or you know, come up with some unusual things because I don't know what I'm doing. So
yeah. Here's another clip I'd like to maybe hear from you about. Should I? Same. I think it's the same album. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, this one, if you know what a calliope is or a calliope, I call it a steam organ.
Okay.
You know, you hear it in a circus or whatever, that you know, like in or whatever. And I just love the sound of that calliope. And so I had a vision where, you know, should I or shouldn't I? You know, when you're walking down the street and you meet somebody on the street, or you know, there's a stray dog or a cat, you know, and say, should I or shouldn't I take you home, help you, kind of thing, and just a whole visual thing with it. But I really wanted to play around with that, with those sounds. So I came up with this. You let that one roll.
All right, let's hear it.
Should I or shouldn't I take you home? Should I or shouldn't I leave you alone? I see you watching me out your window. Do you really want me? I don't think so. Tell me a story, make me believe it's true. What can I afford to give or bear to lose? All day promises are all I hear from dirt road hustlers from both far and
Very different feel than the other ones we've listened to.
Yeah, you know, and I've been criticized for that too. Is that people want to hear 10 songs on a CD that all kind of relate to each other. You know, but I don't think music is like that anymore. I think each song stands out as an individual. So it's kind of a hodgepodge collection of different styles. Like you said, it's got a different feel from I'd Rather Be to Should I. I think they're quite different. You know, but whatever. Music is I'm just trying to make music. It's not my job to explain or figure out what my music is. I make the music. That's your job to figure out what it is to you. You know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just do what you do and let the chips fall where they may, and put it out there. But most importantly, I guess, if you want to be successful in it, is to be honest and truthful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think people can sense that.
Yeah.
If you're being phony, but when it's honest and truthful, then it will hit an emotional connection.
Yeah.
And that's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like to share a video clip. Now, this is another one on the studio. We'll get back to some further conversations, but I'd like to share that fairly short clip about the studio. So sort of coming back to the studio again, we started the conversation today with studio. Let's bring that back in again. So I'm just going to share it here. All right. So there it is. Let me know if you can see that. I'm going to take myself off the stage there. I'm going to make it kind of like that. All right. We're about to roll with this thing here. And let me know if you can hear it when I roll it. Okay. So here we go.
When I got involved in music very young age, at 14, 15 years old, at that point I knew that one day I wanted to have a recording studio. I like being creative. I like inventing and designing. I'm good with a pencil and paper. So I put my pencil on paper and I started designing the recording studio. Another thing that I believe very strongly in is trying to keep things as analog as possible. So I like to use a lot of tubes, because tubes, inside the tube, the electrons, the sound has to jump through space from one little plate to the next inside that tube, which kind of puts that analog feel back into a digital world.
We've had the pleasure of working on a variety of different genres of music, from classical to singer-songwriter, blues, R&B, and jazz. Lots of jazz, and big band. We've had the opportunity to record about 7 or 8 big bands in the last couple of years, and those are big projects, pretty labor-intensive. Lots of fun. Lots of people are in here, so it's a big party.
So the piano is one of the main attractions to the studio, because it's such an incredible instrument. Bona fide genius piano players have all been in, and they love this piano. If it sounds good, it is good. We've done house concerts in here. We have the spotlights up above, so we can change the lighting of the room. We can change the mood of the room. We're pretty excited about being able to put together first-class video. People don't just listen to music anymore. They want to watch music. They want to see something.
He's a music lover. His passion is second to none about music. I mean, anyone who comes in here and meets him for the first time, or comes back for the second or third time, they're going to see that passion about music, that passion to record music, capture a performance, capture that moment in time.
When you play music, you hear it. It's invisible. You don't see it. So you play a piece of music and it goes into the air and it's gone forever. So I thought, what a shame that is. If you put so much effort into making a beautiful sound, it would be a shame not to record it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Can't hear you, man.
I muted myself to try and make sure that there's no accidental kind of talking over that video there on my part. And thank you for sharing all the various aspects of what you've been doing with music for the last many decades. And, as we round the corner here on wrapping up, Dan, were there any stories or any sentiment that you want to share with our viewers out there now and those who watch it later that you wanted to share that we haven't gotten to yet, Dan?
I don't know. There's always so much to say. Everybody's got to find their own road, but I think most importantly, to the younger ones that are very enthusiastic and want to make a living at it, you're going to really have to work on your craft. And songwriting and your performances have to be honest and really true to your heart. That's what's going to help you be successful. But my father told me, get a trade, son. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So in other words, music is very important, but making a life and paying for the living that we all need is also important, and find a way to incorporate in the various ways that make sense. We all have sort of experienced that where at different times in our life we have maybe more time or less time for music. I know for myself, I actually went for 11 years without touching any musical instruments because it was just, that time of building business and a young family at that time. But so thank you for sharing all of that. So Dan, out there in Sherwood Park, when's your next concert? When is your next house concert? I guess it's unknown. You're probably aiming for September, August. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, we have, I think, Morgan Davis was going to come out and do a little blues show for us in November. But with the way things are right now, we have no plans for anything.
Right. So
I am working on another project right now. I've got a 6-song EP that I would like to get finished and get out there. But it's something that you have to do. So you just keep doing it. The most important thing I think doing it, and you'll agree with this, is you have to find contentment wherever that is. Whether it's with work, your family, your art, your music, or whatever kind of art you're doing, just find contentment with it. Don't worry about being the rock star, the next huge rock star on the planet and things like that. Don't think about that. Just think, a little closer to home. Just find that contentment and be happy with the people that are around you, and and enjoy that day to day. So if I can help, if I can share what I have to give somebody else that enjoyment, or by doing the house concerts and recording sessions and that, great, then I've done my part, right?
Absolutely. Again, Dan, and thank you, and what you and Connie have created in the local community, and all the work that you've put into the world-class studio that is Dan Lynn Studios out here in Sherwood Park, and just literally just a few minutes from Edmonton, and really appreciate that, and appreciate who you are as folks. Everybody who have met you both have nothing but great things to say about your hospitality and your love and all of those things. So we really appreciate what you bring to our community and our world. So as we wrap this up, Dan, any final word or 2 or 3 words, if our viewers want to kind of say, I'm just remembering that, hour and a bit with Dan here, what words might you leave them with?
You know what? I'm going to say something back to you. I think what you are doing by doing this is awesome. And I hope you continue to do this kind of thing, because it helps guys like me out. You're contributing hugely to the community as well, buddy.
Thank you, kind sir.
Right back at you, Dune.
Wonderful. So sounds like Yeah, sounds like love and contribution are words that we want to use. And do what you can to spread the love. Do what you can to spread the contribution in whatever way possible. During COVID is a unique time where this is more compatible than if I was to start this 6 months ago. It would have been a different context. So in every new context, there's always something that's a little bit more suitable. And this certainly is very welcome in this particular time. So thank you.
All right, man.
All right, wonderful. Let's say bye to our viewers. So again, thanks so much, Dan. And thank you so much, Connie, for helping before the show, make sure that the technology worked on that side. And thank you, Connie, for all you do alongside Dan in all the things here. But to our viewer, have a great rest of your day. Really, now, actually, Connie, if Connie is there, could you have her to come in and say wave hi to our viewers? so everybody can see Connie. I don't know if Connie is there. Connie, come and say wave hi. Thank you so much, Connie. Really appreciate it. So awesome. So on that note, folks out there, take good care of yourself, take good care of one another. And until we meet again, have a great day and the rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dan and Connie.